Ooh, chats. Chill. Chat to them line. Are we good? If you're watching me, make sure you hit the follow button. Yes, sir. I think yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are we good? Job, man. Don't use the job. Chopping in. I took him good. Nice and slow. What the? Damn!
Dubai. On stream.
The Chiefs do. Good tribute, Jazz.
This took place about a year ago, and I still haven't talked much about it. I won't tell my friends. Hell, even my family hasn't heard about it. I know they'll say it was because I didn't get enough sleep, that I was stressed and just seeing things, but I know what I saw. I know what I heard. I worked at a military hospital near the edge of a war zone during the night shifts. Most of the cases we got were from injuries like burns and shrapnel cuts and amputations. I got used to seeing things that would scare most people. That's how the field of medical care is. After some point, you just work like a machine to meet the needs of your responsibility. It was a quiet night until 11:50 p.m. when a new patient came into the emergency room. Someone who wasn't a soldier, no name or dog tags. Although his body was severely injured, I remembered his face the most. The left side was completely torn apart, leaving burned skin, teeth, and no eye. He looked like he had been hit by a blast. When they wheeled him in, his body was still shaking. He was crying and yelling. He was making only sounds, not words. I can't describe the pain. After stabilizing him, we sent him to room 206 for overnight observation. Due to a shortage of staff, they instructed me to remain in the room with him and ensure his safety until morning. I wasn't that tired, honestly. I'd had worse shifts. I put a chair next to the bed, checked his vital signs, and turned down the lights. His sobs were still soft and hoarse. It was like he wasn't even strong enough to scream anymore. I told him over and over,
"You're safe. You're no longer in the field. Everything will be fine."
He didn't answer, just kept crying in a voice that slowly faded into moaning. He finally stopped sometime after 1 a.m. I thought he fell asleep and I can take a short nap. I looked at him. He was lying still with half of his face turned toward the window where the moonlight was coming in. His chest was going up and down. I closed my eyes in relief and eventually drifted off. I don't recall how long I slept, but a sudden feeling woke me up from my slumber. I felt like someone was looking right at me. When I opened my eyes, the first thing I saw was the man sitting up on his bed and watching me. I'm not easily scared, but the way he looked at me that time sent a shiver down my spine. I saw the clock. It was 3:30 in the morning. In the moonlight, his face looked 10 times more horrible. The eye he still had was wide open. In a shaking voice, I asked,
Did you need something?
He smiled at me, a dry, broken smile. He then took a deep breath and replied, "All my pain is gone now." His voice sounded cold and raspy, but he spoke in a tone that felt like a huge weight had been taken off his shoulders. I could feel my hands getting numb hearing him speak. I tried to keep my voice steady as I stuttered.
Okay, that's excellent. But you should lie down. I'm going to call the doctor.
When I got up to reach for the phone, he laughed. It began slowly. The noise got louder, more twisted and wrong.
The secret is using Buff while you play. When you download and install Buff, you automatically earn Buff points for playing games like Roblox. When you collect enough points, you can redeem them for Robux.
The laugh sounded like it came from a person within a person. My heart was racing as I stumbled backward and ran out of the room. I thought the patient was going into some kind of shock. I ran down the hall and found Dr. Kareem, the on-call doctor. He came back with me. He asked me how much sleep I had and said I looked pale the whole time. When we got to the room and turned on the lights, the soldier was on the bed, flat out, not moving. His mouth and eyes were wide open. With a stethoscope on his chest, Dr. Kareem checked his vital signs and took his pulse, but then he looked at me with a strange face. "Naomi, this guy's been dead for almost 2 hours." I turned my gaze back to the patient who was lying on the bed and was taken aback by what I heard. I was feeling sick. I said in a whisper,
But I talked to him. He got up. He gave me a smile. Doctor, he laughed. He said he wasn't in pain anymore. I swear to God.
but Dr. Kareem watched me like I'm some delusional grandmother ranting utter nonsense. "Naomi, you've been working too much. How about you take some time off? I'll inform the morgue to care of the body." And just like that, he walked away. I stood there, looking at the dead patient in front of me for a few more minutes, then went back home without saying anything more to anyone at the hospital. All the way, I kept arguing with myself on whether it was a bad dream or grim reality. I know what I saw, though. That man returned, smiled, and said those words to me, even only for a moment. I was told to take a week off. Yes, I did. After that night, though, I never went back to room 206, not even to look at it. Afterward, I looked at the hospital records. No one was able to find him. No name, nothing. No one came to claim the body. 3 days later, they buried him in an unmarked grave near the military base. I sometimes wonder if I was the last person he saw while he was living, or the first person who saw him when he was someone else. I don't know if anyone out there faced something similar after losing a loved one, but if you did, let me tell you, I understand your pain, and that's why I've decided to share my story at IMR Scary Tales. I'm Mira, and I live in a small town near a forest, the kind of place where smoke from the woods always fills the air, and old women still put salt lines on their windowsills to keep evil spirits away. The kind of place where people pray for the safe return of their sons, and sometimes never stop. My husband, Arav, was a soldier. Arav was a strong and kind man who would take in stray dogs and become emotional during patriotic songs. We were married less than a year when he was deployed. I remember the last morning I saw him, his uniform perfectly ironed, his boots polished, and his nervous smile hiding something he didn't want me to see. I got the telegram 8 months later. It came at dusk. A man in uniform stood outside my cottage, his face unreadable. He didn't need to say anything. I saw the folded paper in his hand and immediately crumpled to the ground. My knees gave out before he said a word. "We regret to inform you." I didn't hear the rest. My mind went blank. They say I fainted. Kavya, my sister, said she found me on the floor, cold and barely breathing. She spent the rest of the night putting me to bed, giving me warm water by spoon, and brushing my hair like I was a kid again. Though I was awake, I felt nothing. That numbness that wraps around your bones and makes you think it'll never go away. I felt only that. I remember hearing the clock that night.
The fuck am I doing, bro? You belong to somebody. And tonight, you Give me a photo, man. Try. I ain't gonna lie. I'm getting tired of this shit, man. I might as well quit. Doing this shit, man.
I remember going to bed without listening to my husband's voice. The house was too quiet for me. I finally went to sleep after midnight. At around 2:30 a.m., I heard a Rav calling my name. It was so soft and gentle that I dismissed it as the wind, but then again, I heard it. It was clearly his. I sprang up in bed. The window next to me was open, and the wind was making.
How the fuck y'all live these shits? She's lagging as well. Damn. Fuck is a breaker? I know it's think she used that.
Procurar o mouse. Ele copia esse do... What's the level around the season of Samsung?
Red light! Green light! Red light! Green light!